Mitchell Funeral Home, they understand that the funeral is a celebration of a life and legacy, so the entire staff takes great pride in the caring, personal, and professional services they provide. Cremations, funeral planning, burial policy, life insurance, notary, and monument sales are just a few of the services they offer. Flexible packages are available as well. Mitchell Funeral Home appreciates the trust and confidence placed in them and will continue to enhance their services so as to serve you better. Call now. Get connected. 870-246-2611. That's 870-246-2611. Call, click, or come by. MitchellFuneralServices.com. Don't wait till we're needed. Call us now. Let's walk through this together. 870-246-2611. It's quality you can appreciate and service you can depend on at Mitchell Funeral Home.
Fill your home for the holidays with Bedrock Mattress and More. Bundle and save for every room in your home. Package deals just in time for the holidays. Our first bundle starting at $5.98. Perfect for a dorm room. Bundle deal 2, only $15.99. Enough to fill your first apartment. And fill your home with our third bundle starting at only $24.99. Come get these deals while they last. Special pricing going on now through the end of the year. Celebrate this holiday season with something new from Bedrock Mattress and More. 3901 South University in Little Rock.
Hi, this is Alvin from Habibi's 4317 East Broadway in North Little Rock. We still have the green top at your very next stop. The same great service, but more of it. Give us a call at 501-663-1553 or 664-2992 or call our toll-free number 1-877-HABIBI-1. Diapers, pull-ups, hospital beds, wheelchairs, Simply Fit, diabetic supplies, underpads, and more. Your durable medical supply center.
All right, welcome back to the show. It is Booklist Friday. Later on in the show, I'm going to give you 2 more books that's on my book list that helped me on my journey to enlightenment. It's a long journey. I'm not even done yet, but at least it got me on the path. I'm trying to help you get on that path too. You'd be surprised what you learn and what you will become. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with me, if you want. So, yesterday I had a horrible experience at a black business here in Little Rock that I wanted to give my money to. In fact, I almost begged her to take my money. So I debated after the incident, should I talk about it on the show? Should I ignore it? Because I'm not going to talk about it to try and, I guess you could say, hurt her business. I'm hoping that if she hears it, if some of you all know who she is, I'm hoping that she'll listen with an open heart and understand where I'm coming from. How I'm going to illustrate this story is going to be a story of 3 black businesses, all similar businesses, all restaurants, and tell you how customer service was handled at these 3 black businesses in 3 different cities. One in Little Rock, one in Memphis, and one in Nashville. Now, as you all know, as I've talked about, I am very pro-black. I want to give black businesses my money, okay? But there's a caveat to that. That if I'm going to give you my money, I have an expectation. And I'll tell you what that is in a little bit. I have an expectation. I don't give you my money simply because you're black. Now, let me be honest with you. I am a business owner. So I understand where you are. I'm a business owner, all right? I understand difficulties in handling the public, but I will argue to you till I'm blue in the face that if you have poor customer service, that your business will be doomed. Okay? I don't care how much money you may be making up front, but if you have poor customer service, your business is going to be doomed. Today is a classic example of that. So here's what typically happens in the business arena. When you give someone bad customer service, or you don't own up to what you say you're going to do as a business owner, that person goes out and tells 10 people. Since I had that experience yesterday, I've probably told at least 20 people. Plus, I was so upset as I left the business and was driving around the city trying to decide where I wanted to eat because I wanted to give my money to a black business. I streamed live and told the story. So just imagine how many people saw that video. You understand what I'm saying? Customer service ought to be your primary focus. You can have bad food, but if you have customer service, you're going to make some money. You know why I say that? Let me give you a classic example. Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A has terrible food. The chicken sandwich is okay. It's nothing grand. But you know what? Soon as you walk through the door, hello, welcome to Chick-fil-A. If there are 2 people in line, someone jumps out of the ceiling, out of the floor, out of the cash register, I'll take your order over here. You get your order. When they give it to you, they say, thank you, Mr. Coleman, Mr. Brown, or whatever the case may be. They always ask you, do you want dipping sauces? Even if you forget, what type of dipping sauces would you like? If you go through the drive-thru, they have 3 to 4 people standing outside when the drive-thru gets full so they can get your order taken. So when you get to that one window, boom, you're gone. In fact, it's not even in the cold. In the warm weather. It's even in the cold weather. That's why they make money. That's one example. Let me give you another place where I worked. If you've ever been to Houston's in Memphis, it's based in Atlanta. One of the things that Houston's has better than any other, every time you would go to Houston's, I made great money. I was a waiter at Houston's. Okay? So I say that so you can understand that I know the restaurant business. I've been from the back of the house to the front of the house. Okay? So I was the only black waiter at Houston's. That tells you the echelon in which I traveled. Okay? But here's the key with Houston's food, because what I understood based on my background in food is that Houston's food really wasn't that good. It was okay, but Houston's food really wasn't that good. They pre-cooked their barbecue ribs at that time. The salads were full of sodium. But you know what? Every time I sat down in Houston's, or you sat down in Houston's, and you had a half a tea, before you looked up, magically another one was sitting on your table. And you know what people would say? Oh man, I just sweetened this one. I gotta do it again. If you were halfway out of water, boom, there was another one on your table. Not from your waiter, but other waiters, because the job of the waiters in Houston is a team. The entire restaurant is your business. So if you go to a section in the restaurant and that person doesn't have tea or coffee and needs a refill, in fact, you're leaving out of the wait station with teas and coffee in your hand and water in your hand. So when you see someone with a half a glass, boom, it goes on the table. That's why Houston's makes money. Customer service. Their food isn't that good. And I'm saying this because if I am tired of going to black business and your customer service is horrible. Now, I don't want to hear the argument that, well, you go to white businesses and you get bad customer service and you go back. Most of the time, I don't. And then most of the time, I don't take the time, and I'll ask for redress. But, a lot of times when I go to white businesses and I get bad service, I get taken care of. I can give you an example after example. But it just seems to me that when you go to black businesses, you get treated like crap. So let me go ahead and start. So as I mentioned to you, I have an extensive background in the restaurant business. Part of the reason I will not start a restaurant business is because I have an extensive background in the restaurant business. And it is the business from hell. I admire all of the people out there who have restaurants. But they'll tell you, you don't want to be in this business. To do it and to do it well, I'm going to be honest with you, you need $1 million to do it the way, let me put it this way. To do it the way I would like to do it, I need $1 million worth of capital right off the bat. I'm talking about the way I would like to do one. Okay? It's a tough business. Okay? I understand that. I got my first job at the Capital Club, and y'all don't realize that at the top of Worthing Bank back in, 74, there used to be a ritzy restaurant up there that only white people were allowed to come to. And that was my first job, washing dishes in a restaurant. I then got another job at the Villa Restaurant, all through high school, washing dishes. Italian restaurant. That's where I developed my taste for Italian food. Okay? I later on opened the Holiday Inn Airport out here by the airport on Bankhead. I was the first waiter to be hired. I later on opened Pepper Joe's that was on Cantrell. I then moved to Memphis and became one of the top waiters at Captain Bilbo's, one of the most successful restaurants that was in Memphis at the time that was modeled after Cajun's Wharf. I was one of 2 waiters. Okay. I was also the kitchen manager during the time that I waited tables at Captain Bilbo's. I was a kitchen manager for J.P. Seafield's, which was in Germantown. That was a ritzy, high-class restaurant. Okay? So I wanted to give you a little bit of background of my credentials when I talk about restaurants. Because when you tell me it takes 35 minutes to cook chicken tenders and chicken wings, I know that's not true. So let me start with the business in Nashville. Okay? So when I first moved to Nashville and I got acquainted with people, one of my dear friends, I call him my brother, you'll see him on my feed periodically, his name is Jason Hotel. And we were at his house. In fact, we lived next door to one another. And I was over there, and we were probably playing PlayStation or something. Yeah, I was a PlayStation fanatic at one point. He told me, he said, hey, man, and he know I cooked, and I talked about food, and he knew I did the rub, and he would buy my rub and things of that nature. So he said, man, have you ever went to Princess Chicken? I said, no, I've never heard of it. This is a black business in Nashville that sells this chicken. It's hot chicken. Now, just to give you reference, if you remember, Kentucky Fried Chicken recently started trying to sell hot chicken. Princess Hot Chicken, a black-owned business, started that craze in Nashville. So I said, okay, great, let's go. He said, oh, well, we need to call in order. So we sat there and played another full game of PlayStation. And you understand, if you've ever played that game, sometimes it takes you over an hour to play a game. And I said, man, we need to go get the order. He said, oh, man, it's cool. We'll be all right. So we finally go get the order. It took us about an hour after we had ordered to go get the order. When we got there, the order was not ready. I said, hey, man, what's up with this? I mean, this is crazy. He said, hey, man, this is how Princess is. But he said, I promise you, Dave, you will be satisfied with the product. I said, okay. So obviously I waited. We got the Princess Hot Chicken. It was good. From the time that we ordered the hot chicken, I believe it took us an hour and 30 minutes to get our order. And we had to drive over there. Now, throughout the 15 years that I lived in Nashville, there was oftentimes I wanted to go to Princess Hot Chicken. But you know what? When I'm on the fly, I don't have an hour and a half to wait on my order. And it takes that long. And here's why it takes that long. You actually, one order, you get a half a chicken, and they fry it in this grease that is piping hot both ways. So it takes a little longer to fry a half a chicken. Okay? I understand that. But here's where Princess dropped the ball. So as Nashville began to develop, Nashville is now that it city. It became a food city. And unlike Little Rock, most cities have an indigenous food. Nashville's indigenous food is hot chicken. Every 4th of July, they have a hot chicken contest downtown at the park. Okay? So what happened as Nashville began to develop, different culinary artists began to move into the city. They went to Prince's Hot Chicken. They stole the recipe. And it's pretty simple to get. All you got to do is you can take it to a chemist and duplicate it. Let me tell you a quick story about my business. I was selling my business at this fair in Nashville, and this guy would come and buy my product every month. I was there once a month. And he finally came up to me one day and said, man, this is some great stuff. What's in it? Tell me your recipe. I said, man, I'll tell you the recipe on how to kill. He started laughing. He said, I'm a blender. All I got to do is take it to my blending company, and I can analyze it, and I can duplicate your product. That stunned me. So this is probably what happened at Prince's. All right? So they opened their own hot chicken restaurant in the ritzy part of the developing Nashville. Stole the black businesses' recipe. Opened their own business, so much so that the Kentucky Fried Chicken, a national chain, which is normal for them to steal recipes because Colonel Sanders stole his recipe from a black woman. And they could be millionaires right now. But Prince's Hot Chicken in Nashville is in a ritzy part of town in a rundown building. Because they didn't understand the business concept. They didn't understand customer service. They didn't understand that, hey, I'd like to eat your chicken for lunch, but I only got an hour. I don't have time to wait an hour and a half to get my meal. You understand what I'm saying? So, although I will tell you, if you ever go to Nashville, Tennessee, if you want to eat an indigenous food, eat the hot chicken. Now, I will tell you, it's hot. I got the mild, dude. Jason asked me, said, man, they have different temperatures. They got mild, they got hot, and they got extra hot. What you want? I dabble in the arts of heat when it comes to food. I said, I'll get the mild. I said, I'll get the hot. He said, man, the hot is the best. So we both got the hot. He had eaten it before. This was my first time. And man, that chicken lit me up, but it was one of those things where you couldn't put it down. It was hot, it was tasty, and it was great. And I wanted to go back often. I would argue that in the years that I lived in Nashville for 15 years, and I only bought Prince's Hot Chicken maybe 5 times. Wanted to buy it hundreds of times. Was with friends who say, man, let's get some Prince's. Oh, man, it takes too long. Let's go somewhere else. Don't get me wrong. And this was a conversation. Don't get me wrong. I want to cater to a black business, but I don't want to take an hour and a half to get an order of Prince's Hot Chicken. Customer service, man. That's what I'm talking about today. Customer service in black businesses. This is important. If you don't do anything else, my brothers and sisters, treat your customers with respect, because we don't have to come in your business. I'm going to tell you in a little bit how I treat my customers when I purchase my rug, when I sell them my rug. Okay? In fact, let me do this now, and then I'm going to tell you about the black business in Memphis. So as you all know, I have a product. It's called Coleman's Dynamic Products. If you come down tomorrow and buy some product from me at the Juneteenth celebration, one of the things I'm going to tell you is that you get a money-back guarantee. Now, what does that mean? Is that a cute little slogan? If you've been listening to the commercial about the Father's Day gift box, what did I tell you? I didn't tell you to go to my website. I'm a small business owner. I told you to call me. I gave you my direct number. You know why I gave you my direct number? Because I want to thank you before you spend any money with me. I want to talk to you. I want to know who you are. I want to let you know that I appreciate every dollar that you spend with me. That's important for me. That's part of the reason I do that. But also what I'm going to tell you is that I'm going to give you a money back guarantee. If at any time you decide that you don't like my product, I'm going to give you your money back. It doesn't matter what you spend. If you spend $5 and you say, you know, Dave, that Coleman's Dynamic Rib Juice, I didn't like it, man. I'm going to say, I'm going to reach in my pocket immediately, no questions asked, and I'm going to say, how much you pay for it? And I probably know how much you paid for it. I'm going to peel off that $5 and I'm going to give it to you. Hey, thank you. As a matter of fact, since you didn't like that, why don't you try one of my other products? Hello? For free. And let me know what you think about that. This is not a little slogan. This is not to make myself feel good. This is an honest commitment to you that my products are going to be quality, that I'm going to make them with love. Give you an example. So I had a friend in East Tennessee to mix when I first developed my rib juice, I had him to mix it. And my main ingredient, one of my ingredients in my rib juice is raw honey. He took it upon himself to remove the honey and put in corn syrup. Well, number one, corn syrup is a no-no to me. Well, he said, well, it's not high fructose corn syrup. I said, it's still corn syrup. It's a derivative thereof. I said, you got to take this order back. Because I promise my customers that all of my products are natural. There are no preservatives, mustard, ketchup, Worcestershire, water, dry seasonings. So when I tell you that, and I'm honest with you, I have women who come to my table who if you go to my website, you'll see a picture of me and Thelma from Good Times. And I remember at that particular event, we were in Los Angeles, and there were little old women who were saying, hey, I want to buy your product, but I have diabetes. Or I have high blood pressure, so I can't take a little salt, too much salt. I have to tell them, this is a brown sugar based content. Or my rib dust is a seasoned salt. It's salt. You can't I don't want your $5. I don't want to lie to you and take your money. That's how much I value my customers. So I had a lady come to me, and she said, I bought your product 2 months ago and I didn't like it. We were in Nashville. I reached in my pocket. I said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Why? Can you tell me why you didn't like it? She said, well, I just didn't. She started giving me this story. And I said, okay. I said, well, you can't really please everybody, but, most people like it, and you're one of the first that have said you didn't like it. And we were having a nice conversation. And while we were talking, I had reached in my pocket, and I said, I asked her, well, how much did you buy? She said, well, I bought 2 bottles of your rib juice. And I said, okay, you probably spent, what, $10? She said, yeah. So I gave her $10 right off the bat. And she immediately started smiling. I said, wow, did that $10 make you that happy? We started cracking jokes. She said, no. She said, actually, I really loved your product. It was fantastic. But I just wanted to see if you were going to do what you said you were going to do. If, in fact, someone came to you and said they didn't like your product, and you would refund their money immediately. So she then turned around and gave me my $10 back. And she bought about $30 worth of more product. That's customer service. Now, I'll tell you, in my trials and tribulations of dealing with the public, I have not always been as gracious. But over time, because I've worked in the customer service field quite a bit of my life, I understand why it's important. Dell Computers lost millions of dollars when they changed their customer service. You know what they did? Their tech support used to be all Americans. So when you called Dell's Computers, someone answered in 2 minutes. And you could understand them. No offense to people from India. But when Dell changed its customer service, where the majority or certain computers that you bought, their tech support went to India, Dell lost a whole lot of market share and lost a whole lot of customers because of customer service. Dell Computers, Michael Dell, learned a valuable lesson. And so I model my customer service with my businesses after Dell Computers. I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to hurt you. So now, tell you what, we're going to hold off to the story from Memphis in the next hour, because I want to tell you the story in Memphis is where I had fantastic customer service at a black business that a friend of mine's family owns. Now, don't think I went to this business and I walked in and said, "Hey, that's Dave Coleman." No, they didn't even know who I was. In fact, that side of the family doesn't know me. I just know one of their sons that we became friends while we lived in Nashville. And the reason I'm talking about this today, again, next hour we're going to talk about two businesses, the business in Memphis that gave me great customer service, and the business here in Little Rock that gave me bad customer service. I might even tell you about the black insurance agent that I had that I'm going to get rid of because of bad customer service. If you want to maintain your business, if you want to keep people coming into your business, your food can be terrible, but if you kill them with kindness, they're going to come back. You know, I went out to eat at the Texas Longhorn Steakhouse a couple of weeks ago. Service was terrible. And I'll admit, it's not hard waiting on me, but because I have such an extensive background in waiting tables, there are certain things that I expect. Number one, you get my order correct. Number two, if I order a steak, you cook it correctly. Number three, if I order a piece of salmon, don't tell me that I don't know how to cook salmon, because you don't know that I'm an ex-chef. All right? So we had bad service that day, you know, and I've forgotten the details. But, you know, I'll go back to Texas Roadhouse because I got bad service. In fact, we did go back since the bad service incident. Here's why we went back. It's because when I explained to the manager how poor the service was, and it wasn't really the service, it was the food that took so long coming out. What you all don't realize that every restaurant, every legitimate restaurant, that when you type in when that waiter or waitress or whomever's at the cash register takes your order, it basically prints out a ticket. We called them back in the day chits. CHIT. Okay? It would automatically go to the kitchen, and every order had a cook time. In other words, how long does it take to cook a medium rare steak from the time it's placed on the board until the time it goes out to the table? Every order has a cook time. If you are in the restaurant business and you don't have a cook time for your orders, then you are asking for trouble. Okay? I'm just going to be real with you. So when the manager came out and I told him, I said, "Hey man, this is really taking too long, You know, he said, "Hey, I apologize. Tell you what, would you all like a drink or something while we wait? And I'm going to go check on your order. It's on the house." Now, I didn't ask for a drink, but he certainly offered it. "Sure, we'll take a drink." when he comes back, he said, by the way, the meal's on the house today, and so is dessert. Hello. Subsequently, we went back. We've been back since. The service was even better. And we sat there and talked about the section that we sat in and how bad the service was last time. But I didn't go out and tell anybody how bad that service was, because you know why? He took care of us. He understood that it shouldn't have taken that long to cook 2 steaks. And I didn't necessarily take it out on the waiter. The waiter has no control over how long it takes for the cooks to get that stuff up on the line. But he's on the front line. I've been on that front line with irate customers who were upset because their steak wasn't cooked correctly. But you know what? Most of those customers left feeling good, because you know what? I said, hey, look, I'm going to make sure they take care of you. So when they signed that check, because they still had to sign a check and get it comped, and when they put that tip on there, that tip was always 15, 20, 25%. And most of the time they would write, Dave took care of us. That's customer service. Folks, if you're just joining the show, we're talking about customer service today, because of some experiences that I've had at black businesses. And yesterday, I had enough. So I'm calling this sister's business out, not to embarrass her, but hopefully it'll elicit some change in how she does her business. And if you are a black business owner, or if you're thinking about getting in business, then maybe it'll change some of the way you do business and how you treat black businesses. Okay? So that's what we're talking about today, because, see, I certainly believe that the key to the revolution in the black community is the black business. You all know I talk about it. You know I spend money at black businesses. I've broken another Ankh, so I'll be leaving today to go to another black business to get me an Ankh. I'm not going to order it on Amazon. It would be cheaper, but I'm going to buy it from a black business. Okay? So we're talking about customer service today. Next hour, we're going to do the book list, and I'll give you the other 2 restaurant experiences. The next one will be from Memphis, a black business. And I'll tell you how they treated me when I got bad service, and why I'll be going back, and why I'm going to recommend it to you. Back in a moment. You're listening to Black Focus Radio. I'm Dynamic Dave on joinnetradio.com.
This is attorney Danielle Walker from the Walker Law Firm. Are you drowning in debt? Is your debt becoming unmanageable? Are you struggling to make ends meet? It might be time to...
Back in a moment, got to get some water.
Call me at 501-374-1448 and let me provide you with the professional legal guidance and help protect you from foreclosure, harassing bill collectors, repossessions, wage garnishments, and more. I have a proven record of serving clients just like you for over 20 years. I'm conveniently located downtown Little Rock at 323 Center Street, Suite 1020. Call today for a free, no-obligation consultation at 501-374-1448, 501-374-1448, 501-374-1448. This is attorney Danielle Walker from the Walker Law Firm, and let me help you.
Mitchell Funeral Home welcomes all of Arkadelphia and Arkansas in Clark County since 1966. At Mitchell Funeral Home, they understand that the
All right.
life and legacy, so the entire staff takes great pride in the caring, personal, and professional services they provide. Cremations, funeral planning, burial policy, life insurance, notary, and monument sales are just a few of the services they offer. Flexible packages are available as well. Mitchell Funeral Home appreciates the trust and confidence placed in them and will continue to enhance their services so as to serve you better. Call now. Get connected. 870-246-2611. That's 870-246-2611. 2611. Call, click, or come by. MitchellFuneralServices.com. Don't wait till we're needed. Call us now. Let's walk through this together. 870-246-2611. It's quality you can appreciate and service you can depend on at Mitchell Funeral Home.
Fill your home for the holidays with Bedrock Mattress and More. Bundle and save for every room in your home. Package deals just in time for the holidays. Our first bundle starting at $5.98. Perfect for a dorm room. Bundle deal 2, only $15.99. Enough to fill your first apartment. And fill your home with our third bundle starting at only $24.99. Come get these deals while they last. Special pricing going on now through the end of the year. Celebrate this holiday season with something new from Bedrock Mattress and More. 3901 South University in Little Rock.
Hi, I'm attorney Theodore Thompson from the Thompson Law Firm, and I want to help with your legal matters. Whether it's criminal defense, bankruptcy, personal injury, or family law, I want to help you. I can be reached at 501-503-5095. Don't face your legal issues alone. You need an attorney whose primary objective is to provide you with the best legal representation. Our office address is 415 North McKinley, Suite 710 in Little Rock. I'm attorney Theodore Thompson, and I want to provide you with the best legal representation.
The views and opinions expressed today on Black Focus Radio are not the views and opinions of the station, its management, or its advertisers. Now, let's get ready to focus on our issues, our solutions, using our voices on Black Focus Radio.
Welcome to Black Focus, the show designed with our community in mind, where we focus on our issues, developing our solutions, using our voices. Central Arkansas, surrounding areas, and the nation. Get ready. Black Focus starts right now. Phone lines open at 855-525-5683. So here's your host, David W. Coleman and Robert Webb.
By now, Robert Webb should be on the beaches in Northern California at Pebble Beach, enjoying the sunshine and the U.S. Open. Lucky dog. Lucky dog. Well, I can't complain. I did get to go to Hawaii, but I know he's enjoying himself. So, this hour, this whole show has been dedicated to customer service as it relates to black businesses. Okay? Now, I understand that white folks give you bad service too. My total argument is that if someone gives you bad service and doesn't remedy the problem, then you really shouldn't be spending your money with them. That's just how I feel. And I find that there are some black businesses think that just because they're a black business, you ought to spend money with them. In fact, it's a privilege for you to spend money at their black business. I got treated that way yesterday. In fact, I got treated like a black guy at Starbucks at a black business yesterday. And I thought long and hard as I rode home because I was so upset of how I wanted to address it. And I thought about, well, I could get on here and ream a new one or try to help some people. Now, I'm going to tell you who it is right now so you can go ahead and contact her, and maybe somebody from her business will listen, because I'm going to give you an example of a good business first, and then I'm going to talk about CC's Chicken and Waffles. Okay? So, one of my very dear friends, and I'm not trying to name drop, is Tony Neely. If that name sounds familiar, then think about the Neelys on the Food Network. Tony Neely is one of the older brothers. He and I became friends upon moving to Nashville, and he opened a Neely's barbecue. And oftentimes I would eat there, unbeknownst at the time that he and I were going through a divorce. And we would often compare notes. And I would often take my rub to him and let him try it straight out of his mouth. And Tony would not have said this to me if he wasn't sincere. He said, "I'm glad you're not in the barbecue business because this is some good stuff." That's straight from Tony Neely. Okay? The descendants of Mr. Neely and Neely's Barbecue in Memphis. You know Neely's Barbecue, right? You may not know it as Neely's Barbecue in Memphis. Those of you who are from Memphis, it is called Interstate Barbecue in Memphis. It is on 3rd Street. Of all the barbecue people talk about, I'm not going to even call any of the other names. There are so many barbecue joints in Memphis. The best barbecue is Neely's Barbecue. So I haven't had Neely's Barbecue, where at the time I had not had Neely's Barbecue for, I know it had been 7, 8 years. I know when I commuted back and forth to Memphis, I would always make a point to go to Neely's and get some barbecue. I would ask you to do the same. It's on 3rd Street. Take the 55 south like you're going to Jackson, Mississippi. Go get off on the 3rd Street exit. Go back towards town. It's sitting right there. You can't miss it. It's an institution in Memphis. And they hire black people. So I went to Memphis a couple of weeks ago to visit my son who was on the mainland. And I drove up on an afternoon, and I was really tired, so I knew the first thing that I was going to do, I was going to get me something to eat, and I was going to go to my hotel room and crash because I was meeting my son the next morning. It was no doubt that when I knew I was going to Memphis, I knew I was going to Neely's. So I get to Neely's, pull in, and ironically, during the 15 years that I lived in Memphis, I actually parked in the same place that I parked in during the times that I would go to Neely's while I lived in that city. It was, I don't know, kind of reminiscent, sentimental. I hadn't been to Neely's in a while. Go in, it's a to-go order because I'm a grab and go. I thought about calling in, but because I didn't have the menu, I wanted to go because I was ready to eat me some Neely's. Okay? Let's just let you say, my order was like $22. I fed myself fat that night on some Neely's Barbecue. Then, of course, my son came to the hotel room later on, and he ate some too. But so I go in and I place my order. I sit down, and I'm waiting. And I'm waiting. And I'm waiting. And I'm waiting. Now, granted, see, I've eaten at this restaurant multiple times before. I was wondering. So then people were coming in, placing orders, getting their orders before I was getting my order. So I kindly got up and walked to the counter. I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, I've been sitting here for 20 minutes now, and I have not received my order." And there have been multiple people who have come in and gotten orders before I got mine. And I thought maybe those were to-go orders, which they were not, because a couple of those people came in and ordered after I ordered. She looked at it, she said, "What's your name? What's your order?" I told her. She said, I apologize. I did not turn your order into the kitchen." I said, "Well, wait a minute. I've been sitting here for 20 minutes. I said, now it's going to take another 15 minutes to get my order." So she went back to the kitchen, told them to rush the order. In the meantime, the manager had come back and forth. You know, he's looking at the dining room area and the takeout area. Okay. Oh, I just thought about Sakatumi cake from Neely's. Oh, fantastic. So he became aware that I had been sitting there for quite a period of time. He said, "Hey, brother," he said, "you ain't got your order yet?" I said, "No, man." He said, "Come here." I got him, and I said, "Man, I've been sitting here now almost 25 minutes waiting on my order." He said, "Man, I apologize. I am so sorry." He looked at the young lady. He said, "What happened to his order?" And she explained to him that she forgot to turn it in. And he nicely gave her an evil eye and chastised her, not in a rude way, but wanted to impress upon her how important it was to make sure every order was turned into the kitchen and this situation would not occur. He then turns back to me and he says, "Hey man, what's your name?" I told him my name. I said, "Man, I've been eating here for years." He said, "Don't worry about it." He said, "What's your ticket?" He said, "Give me your ticket." I gave him my ticket. He took my ticket. He zeroed it out. He refunded my money. And he gave me the order free. You know what? I'm going back to Neely's because I know that's the type of people they are. He didn't argue. He didn't get upset. He understood my frustration waiting 25 minutes for a barbecue and seeing other people coming in, placing orders after I had placed my order, he understood that I was frustrated. Even though I was kind and polite, but he understood as a person who understands the value of customer service, because he realizes that I could have been anyone. I could have been a food critic. Just like when I went to CC's Chicken and Waffles yesterday, they don't know, or she didn't know, that I'm a talk show host. Oops. That's why when people walk through your door, you treat everyone with respect. It doesn't matter what kind of clothes they have on. It doesn't matter what they look like. I'm going to tell you, the biggest stereotypes that you make as waiters, I'm going to say white waiters, is that when black people walk into your station, you think black people don't tip. Now, wait a minute. I just told you that I spent quite a bit of my life in the restaurant business. I know what tipping is all about. So when you presuppose, just because I'm a black person, that I'm not going to tip, and then you proceed to give me bad service because I'm a black person, or I have a party of 10 and the gratuity is automatically included, which is illegal, by the way, and you proceed to give me bad service, I'm not going to be happy. And then you're going to jeopardize your tip. Okay? Where I'm a 15 to 25% tipper, it's 15% period. If you give me okay service. You give me great service, you're going to get 25, 30%. Because I was in the business. I understand you're making $2.10 an hour. Okay? So the people at Interstate Barbecue, a black business, gave me my order free. They treated me with respect. They understood my frustration at not being able to get my order in a timely manner. So I'm recommending that you go to Interstate Barbecue. By the way, it's the best in the business. So now, let me be more specific about my ordeal yesterday at CC's Chicken and Waffles. I have been a supporter of this business since I moved back to Little Rock. So when I first moved back, and I've been here almost 4 years now, people would talk about this business, and I'm going to be honest with you, not to throw shade, but chicken and waffles is not a big thing. But I understand the fervor of people in Little Rock who haven't seen a business like this. But Roscoe's out in LA, there are plenty of other great chicken and waffle places around the country, okay? But I didn't get an opportunity to go visit her business prior to her moving to Conway. And I had always heard people talk about, oh, CC's Chicken and Waffles. CC, it's great. It's food's great. Food's great. Oh, okay. But here's what happened. I ended up driving to Conway on multiple occasions. I would say within the last 2 years, or since she moved, I think she was up there about 2 years. I would argue that I made at least 10 trips to Conway to eat at CC's Chicken and Waffles. I would argue that there were times that I'd be riding around and I'd say, hey, we'd be trying to figure out what do we want to eat. Let's go to Conway and eat at CC's Chicken and Waffles. Get to Conway, went to the business, people treated us nice, food came out in a timely manner, loved it. So I, like you, was elated when I heard that she was moving back to Little Rock. In fact, I was mad because I said she shouldn't have moved anyway. Don't know the parameters in which made her move, but the fact of the matter is that I was thrilled that she was back in Little Rock. Still hadn't had a chance to go over and eat yet, but I knew I was going to get there. Because what do? I cater to black businesses. I want to give you my money. In fact, you'll hear later how I was begging her to take my $25. Okay? So 2 days ago, I was over on Colonel Glenn and rode by Chicken and Waffles, CC's Chicken and Waffles, and it was packed. And I said, at the time I was on the way to do something, I said, hey, I got to get me some CC's. So the next day, which was yesterday, I made it a point that I was, no matter, when I got hungry yesterday evening, I could have cooked something. I said, nope, I'm going to get me some CC's Chicken and Waffles. That's just how much I respected her business. Now, where I live in Little Rock and where she's located, it's almost a 20-minute drive. Now, granted, I was driving over there in rush hour. So it took me almost 25 minutes to get over there, to spend my money with a black business, because I wanted to spend my money with a black business, a business that I had catered to before. I get there, parking lot's packed. Great. A little nervous, but I was thinking that, hey, I probably should have called my order in, but I didn't know the menu. So I said, I'm just going to go. Say I was going to order two different orders. Get over there, there's a line. That's a good thing. There are two lines. One is a cash and a credit line. The cash line ran out. I still had to stand in the credit line. I didn't understand why the person that was taking cash couldn't take a credit card to speed up the line, but I didn't complain. I was looking at the menu. I was ready. Mouth was watering. I'm ready to eat, man. Man, I've been waiting on this. About time she got back to Little Rock. Get up there, place my order. Excited. Order was $23.98, something like that. I go and have a seat. There were 4 college women in front of me that was ordering. They ordered prior to I did, and they went and had a seat. The peculiar thing, as I waited on my order, I noticed that the 4 college women that were sitting, their order was eat in, and 2 of the young women got their order before the other 2. I noticed the table sitting beside me, they actually had to stop a guy who was acting, I guess, as a waiter and say, hey, man, we've been sitting here for a while. Where's my food? In the meantime, this same person was standing at the front lobby, right behind the desk. He was eating and drinking while people were in the lobby waiting on their food. Now, to make a long story short, I ended up waiting. I got to CC's Chicken and Waffles at 10 to 5. I was able to place my order at 5:05. The reason I know this is because I looked at the ticket. The register makes the time, the date stamp of when the order went in. And I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of lost track of time because I was on Facebook, I was reading, doing some other things, but I'm always aware of my surroundings, and I could see people a little, waiting, and then of course the 2 young ladies were wondering, well, how did they get their food before I got my food? And they ordered before me. So I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. If they ordered before me and they haven't gotten their food yet, and I've now been sitting here 35 minutes, this is going to be a minute. During the process, I heard someone say, someone else apparently had said something, and someone in the back apologized that, hey, look, they're changing out the oil, and that's what caused the delay. You're in the middle of rush hour, and you have to change the oil. Are you telling me you only have 1 fryer? And your main food that you make is fried chicken? So 35 minutes elapsed. And I the guy who was acting as the waiter, who was bringing people food, I said, hey man, I was just wondering, I've been sitting here for 35 minutes. What's the deal on my order? And he says, well, you need to go up to the front and ask them ladies behind the counter. I said, oh, okay. So I get up and I go up to the front counter and I say, hey, I've been sitting here for 35 minutes. I was just trying to wonder where my order was. And then they gave me the excuse that I had heard that, hey, we're sorry, we're changing out the fryer and it shouldn't take that long. And I said, well, I'm gonna tell you, I don't mean no harm, but it shouldn't take 35 minutes to fry chicken wings or chicken tenders. So I go back and sit at the table, still waiting patiently. So apparently, Cece heard my complaint and had told the security guard to come back and talk to me. Or I'm a little confused why you would send a security guard to talk to me about an order. So he began to talk to me and say, well, you know, it takes 35, 40 minutes for all the orders here. I said, to fry chicken? And he said, yeah. I said, man, what kind of chicken are y'all frying? Now, again, I've been in the restaurant business. That's why before I started this, I gave you some of my credentials of what I know about this business. I'm going to tell you, I can fry chicken tenders in 5 to 7 minutes. I can fry chicken wings in 7 to 10 minutes. Okay? So, anyway, so by now, security guard leaves. I said, man, look, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I said, look, I just want my order, man. And he says, well, they can give you a refund. I said, look, man, I don't want a refund. I said, I came over here to eat. I just want my order. Okay? So then, somehow or another, I guess Cece gave him a signal that they're not going to give me my order. They want to give me a refund and get me out, put me out. So as I sat back there, I kept telling him, I said, look, man, I'm not trying to start anything. I said, I drove 20 minutes to come over here to your restaurant to eat your food. I said, hell, I used to drive to Conway to eat her food. I said, now you're telling me that because I asked a question about my order, that you're going to put me out? I said, I want the food. I said, I want to give you the money. Well, she said she's going to refund your money, so you need to go up there and get your refund. You need to get out. Oh, okay. So granted, I paid with the card. So I asked, at first there was a young lady on the front counter, and I asked the question. I said, now, how is this going to work? I said, I paid with the card. Typically, when you refund my money, it doesn't get back into my account immediately. Well, she said it'll take 7 to 10 business days to get your money back. I said, so technically, you're not refunding my money. I'm going to eventually get it. But because I asked the question, now I'm going to loan you my money for 7 to 10 days. Cece was in the back, and she was hollering at the young lady. I told you to refund his money. Just refund his money. Quit talking to him. She finally comes up to the front. Yeah, I'm calling names. And I said, sister, I'm not trying to cause any problems. I said, you're putting me out of your business because I asked that I've now been sitting here almost 40 minutes and I don't have an order. And she says, well, this is not a fast food restaurant. I said, I understand that. But it takes 40 minutes, 45 minutes to get an order? She said, well, if you go to a Texas Roadhouse and any of those other restaurants, it takes that long to get food. Now, remember earlier, I had just told you about the incident I had at Texas Roadhouse. And I said, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You know. I said, but at the end of the day, I want you to keep this money. I just want my order. I don't want a refund. I'm begging you to take this money. And I'm saying I cater to black businesses. I talk about black businesses. I talk about the importance of black businesses. I'm here to support you. And then I told her, I said, well, you don't understand. And I told her how often we would leave Little Rock out of the blue and drive to Conway to support her in Conway. And then she said, hey, well, it took that long in Conway to get an order. I said, sister, no, it didn't. Didn't take 40 minutes. And then she says, well, we're just opening. We're working out some kinks. I said, I understand that. I said, but I really would like my order. I came over here to eat. She said, no, I'm going to give you the refund because you were out there cursing. I said, no, sister, I never uttered a curse word at all. So then I told her, I said, look, they started giving me the money back, and one young lady was going to give me half of the money. And I said, sister, I had 2 orders. This was how much I paid. If you're going to refund my money, you're going to refund all of my money. So then I had to pull out my ticket, my receipt, and show her how much I actually paid. Cece then gave me my money back, and she wanted to give me an extra $5. I guess for my trouble. And as I told her, sister, I don't want your $5. I want my chicken and waffles. And I want to give you this $23.98 that I paid for those chicken and waffles. Nope, too late. We just want you gone. And I left. I was really frustrated yesterday evening. If you saw the live, you could tell I was frustrated. Because, see, I don't know any business that I've ever went to that will turn down money. And it seems to me that black businesses do it on a regular basis. Have you ever gotten something from a store and you go and return it, and some of those stores will give you a refund, but they give you a gift card, and that gift card can only be spent at that store? They're keeping the money in the chain. I remember doing that at one store, and they wanted to give me a gift card, and I told them, I said, look, and at that particular store, and I forgot the details, but I remember they had given me bad service. And I told them, I don't want a gift card. I said, because if you give me a gift card, that means that I still spend money with you because it's on your gift card. So you're not losing my money. I wanted my dollars back. You understand what I'm saying? So the point is that these businesses don't want to lose that money. They want to keep that money in the chain. But Cece yesterday was willing to have $23 to walk out of her business, not knowing who that person was, not knowing that person had a talk show, and not knowing that person caters to black businesses on a regular basis, not knowing that person understands the intricate needs of black businesses and how important they are to the revolution of the black community, which is why I take my money to them, which is why I put up with some stuff that I normally wouldn't have. But yesterday was just out of line on their part. So basically what she did to me, what the people did to all these people that go into restaurants and they question their bill and they call security on them. She did to me what a white business does to black patrons. I don't know if there's a name for it, but a black business yesterday. Remember the story that I talked about where the group of Deltas, I believe they were somewhere in Ohio, and they went out and ate at a Darden-owned restaurant? The same people that own Olive Garden and Red Lobster. And they questioned the bill. And the manager called the police on them. Now, she didn't call the police on me, but for whatever reason, she had 2 security guards posted in her place. Does that mean, now I know black folks act a fool, but does that also mean that people are coming in there upset about your customer service? Because I didn't get any customer service yesterday at CC's Chicken and Waffles. I didn't even get an apology. And I sure as hell didn't get my chicken and waffles that I was longing for. Now, why am I telling you this story? And we're going to wrap this up. And I've talked a lot today about customer service, the importance of it. I've given you multiple examples. Some good, some strange, and unfortunately for CC's Chicken and Waffles, some bad. I don't know yet that I'm going to go back. I'm debating. I want to support her. But before I just automatically go back, I need to talk to the manager. I need to see what's on her mind, just like I would any other restaurant that I would go to, and I got bad service. See, we as black businesses cannot afford to think just because we are black that black people are going to spend money with us. Now, let me be clear, because black customers sometimes can be the worst. Wanting a discount, wanting something for free. I've experienced that myself. I used to love because most of the restaurants that I waited tables in, I was the only black waiter. Captain Bilbo's, there were 2. Myself and a guy named Emerson. So you could see when black people would sit down at our tables, it was almost like some of them had a glee in their eye, like I was going to hook them up. Dude, I'm in business. I can't hook you up. These are my prices. This is what I charge. No offense to you. So I know black businesses, black people can be tough. But that doesn't mean that when you get in the heat of the moment, when you're busy, your restaurant is packed, that you throw your customer service out the window. Now, unfortunately, there have been others who've echoed their concern about the customer service at that business. As I said, right now, I don't know that I'm going back. I want to. Hell, I drove. Look, now think about it from this perspective. From the time I would drive from my home to Conway, I could have had my order. Did you hear what I just said? When we would drive from Little Rock to Conway, we would have our order in 15 minutes. Didn't take long at all. So from the time that I could have left my front yard, drove to Conway, I could have had my order in the time that I sat at her business in Little Rock yesterday. I'm doing this for a reason. I'm not trying to embarrass you, young lady. I think the world of you. Your product is on point. But the reason I gave the example of Princess Hot Chicken first is because Princess Hot Chicken discovered a niche and made decent money off of it. But people realized that Princess Hot Chicken had an issue with customer service. They were slow. So someone came in, juiced up Princess Hot Chicken, started making it on their own and stole their idea. Now they're making mint in Nashville. So what you should understand here is that someone is going to look at what you're doing, because again, chicken and waffles is not that no concept. It's not like my rub where it has a secret recipe. Okay? Anybody can do it. And if there's an entrepreneur out there who wants to get in the restaurant business, they can make plain waffles, top it with chicken and honey, and run rings around you because they have better customer service. And I say that to all black businesses. If you want to make money, start treating your customers with respect. You know, there's an old saying, the customer's always right. No, that's not always the case. But just remember, that customer can do a lot of damage to your business by opening his or her mouth. One of the things I tell my kids when I do my teenage survival kit, I have an item in there which is a needle and thread. And I ask them, I say, why do I have this item in my kit? And I tell them it's to repair things. And I tell them one of the ways that you can repair something you've done is by 2 words. Something that we don't practice. Something that we're afraid to say because we think it makes us vulnerable. It makes us sound weak. But if you simply use 2 simple words, as the young lady should have done yesterday, I could have given her the benefit of the doubt. But she Starbucked me in her own business. But those 2 simple words are, I apologize. I'm sorry. Whatever phraseology. I'm going to take a break. You're listening to Black Focus Radio. When we come back, we're going to jump into Booklist on joynetradio.com.
Hey friends, Father's Day is right around the corner, and Coleman's Dynamic Products is offering a dynamic gift just for Dad. Pick 6 for Dad. Any 6 items in my product line. Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, Dust, Juice, Nuts, Batter, you name it, all for only $29.95 plus shipping and handling. Upgrade to Pick 10 for only $39.95. Pick 6 for Dad. You must call 615-554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day special. Dad and you will be glad you did. Each purchase receives a Coleman's Dynamic downloadable cookbook. We want to say Happy Father's Day for all the great fathers out there. And while you enjoy your day, don't forget to bake it, grill it, smoke it, oh yeah, with Coleman's Dynamic product. Pick 6 or pick 10. You must call 615-554-0568 to get this dynamic Father's Day special.
All right, welcome back to the show. I don't know if you all have seen the viral post about the young lady at the Old Navy store accusing the black woman of stealing, then ultimately grabbing the young lady. She's been fired. The Old Navy employee. You know why Old Navy fired her? Because, see, when that post went viral, that negatively affects Old Navy, their customer service. Hello? That's what this is really all about, folks. I can show you how to make millions of dollars with simply customer service. 855-525-5683 is the number. There's a reason why Old Navy fired her. There really is. If you want to make some money, start treating your people with kindness. Start treating them with respect. You know why now when you walk in most stores now, Walgreens or whatever the case may be, if they have a front counter, you know why they say, hi, how are you doing? Welcome to XYZ store. They want you to feel at home. Because, you know, studies have been made that if you feel at home in an environment, you'll spend more money. Even the music is designed to make you spend money. You know that, right? That's why mainly during the Christmas holiday season, you're hearing Christmas music. They want to get you in the spirit. That's all designed to create an ambiance for their customers. We have to understand that concept. Just because it's your business, we know it's your business, but you know what? It's my money. And when I bring my money to you, that's basically a vote that says, hey, you're okay. Your food is okay. Here, take my money, please. Now, this young lady that was in this post, somehow or another, I was on her feed. So one of the things I posted on the feed, because she was outraged, I said, so you're not going to be shopping at Old Navy anymore, are you? With a question mark. Now, there were 4 or 5 guys who responded and said they liked my post, but she never responded. And the reason I'm saying that is because when we get bad customer service, no matter where it is, whether it's a white business or black business, the only way that you're going to make it right is you don't go back. We should not accept the fact that just because it's a black business, they're going to be slow. That's unacceptable. We should not accept the fact that just because it's a black business, they're going to have low quality. Because that's not the case. That's the stereotype that white people are putting forward in the media every day, that some of you all have in your heads as to why you don't shop at a black business. All black businesses aren't bad. But what I'm saying to those out there who, you may not get it. You may not get it. But what I'm trying to get you to understand here, that I am a black person. Look, I've sat here and called out the business. She's more than welcome to come on the show and not rebut my claims, but let's talk. How can we help you become a better black business? Would you be willing to do that? Those of you who know her, if you know her, reach out to her. Send her this post. I want her to be successful. I want her to be a millionaire. I want to see her in national newspapers saying, black woman from Little Rock with chicken and waffle business becomes a millionaire. And I want to be able to say, I used to eat at that business. I gave her some of my money. I'm proud of CC. Because apparently I'm not the only person that feels like this. Apparently, you posting up 2 security guards in your business, it suggests something foul. And to send a security guard to me to talk to me about customer service is the wrong move. Let me give you a quick suggestion, CC. Or any of you businesses that have long wait times, number one, you need to do everything you can to cut those wait times. Your turnover will be better and you will make more money. Okay? But if in fact you know that your product is going to take some extra time, extra than normal, why not offer that person something to drink? Would you like some water? Would you like a Coke? It's on me. Because if you give away a soda, that ain't costing you nothing. Because it's syrup. It doesn't cost you nothing to give somebody a soda. Would you like some tea? And periodically you ought to have someone, since you say it's not a fast food restaurant and you have people actually serving, which I question how that worked out yesterday. How about having that person walking through the dining room, checking on people? Are you okay? Oh, your order's not running? Okay. Well, here's what's happening. They had to change out the grease. Now, I would still be a little incredulous with that, but at least they've got someone walking through the dining room telling people what's going on, as opposed to all of those people that were sitting in the dining room wondering what the hell is going on. And she basically kicked me out because I said something. And, here's the other thing she said, and I'm going to get off of this. She said, well, nobody else is saying anything. I said, but if you look at them, they hear what I'm saying, and they're agreeing with me. They're nodding their heads. It's taking too long. But because I said something, you kicked me out of your business. I'd like to help you. I want to send folks to your business. I'm not mad at you. But just remember, whether you're a black business, a white business, Asian, wherever I go, which I don't cater to their businesses at all because they give you terrible customer service. I just expect to be treated with respect. 855-525-5683. Please, somebody, when this feed is ended, send it to her. There's an open invitation. I'm not here to tear her down. I could really go in on her. I'm not here to tear any black business down. I'm talking about this because I want her to be successful. I want every black business to be successful. Because if we make black businesses successful, then guess what? Everybody that I saw in that business yesterday were black, who were getting paid. You understand that, right? So she was paying black people. Typically, a black business will hire black people. Just think if we could get more black businesses and how many other black people can be hired. That is the key to our economic salvation, is black businesses. So no, I'm not trying to tear her down. I'm trying to offer her some advice to make her product better. Because if you're a restaurant, your product is not just what's coming out the kitchen. It's how you treat people. In fact, first impressions will go a long way in determining how one judges you. And yesterday, it wasn't too good. Okay. So for the rest of the show, we got about 10 minutes. We want to talk about the book list. And let me, last week we talked about Stolen Legacy by Dr. George M. James. And we talked about The Myths of Ancient Egypt by Cheikh Anta Diop. Once I'm done with this particular book list, I will post it online so everyone can see it. Now, often people have asked me over the years, man, where did you get so much knowledge? Where did you learn that? Did you go to school? No, I took it upon myself to do this research for myself. Spent all this money on these books because I wanted to know some truths. I wanted to know some answers to some questions that no one seemed to know the answers to. So when you want an answer to a question, you begin to research. And that's what I did. So this is my book list. It's a culmination of all types of literature and readings, religious-based, historical, archaeological, psychological. It's a pretty good book list. Okay? So today, I want to talk about two books. The first one is A Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, Volumes 1 and 2. It's by Jawanza Kunjufu. You've heard Dr. Kunjufu on this show. You heard me, if you listen to that show, ask the poignant question. Dr. Kunjufu, you were one of the first to talk about the prison to pipeline. You were one of the first who said that black boys need their fathers in their lives. Here we are decades later, and what you predicted has occurred because apparently no one listened to you. How do you feel about that? We've had him on the show. We're going to have him on the show again here real soon. These books came out in 1984. Okay? He talks about how important it is to have a male role model in the lives of children, male and female. Let me just read my tease to you about the book. Quick and easy reading, examines the built-in stereotypes, bigotry, and racism African American boys are experiencing in our public education centers and how parents can counter that negativism. If you are male or you have relationships with male, regardless of age or relation, you must read both volumes more than once. The other book is Developing Positive Self-Images in Black Children. That book as well is by Dr. Jwanza Kunjufu. Quick and easy reading. It examines stereotypes and suggests viable alternatives in how to help both black male and female African American children feel good about themselves. Read, examine, and take notes. Now, the first book is volume 1 and 2, and that's a separate, and those are basically pamphlets. I think the pamphlet, I don't think it's 100 pages, if it is. Now I think about it, I think it's like 98 pages. All of them. Here's why this is important. I believe that the key to saving our children are black fathers. Let me say that again. You all know I'm passionate. We've had the debate about abortion and why I think fathers should have rights to those abortions, or a right to say whether or not a child is aborted, I should say. We won't get into that right now. But it is so important for us to understand how significant fathers are. There have been some reports that part of the reason that we have our children growing up now choosing alternate sexual behavior, don't get mad at me, LGBT, this is just a report, is because they lack positive fathers in their lives. They're confused. The first person a young girl falls in love with is her father. The first person a young boy falls in love with is his mother. Hello? So if they never see a positive male role model in their lives growing up as young boys, who are they to mimic? See, when I was growing up, I grew up without a father. But I had my pastor, I had my scoutmaster, I had my coaches, I had deacons at the church. I had all men who were willing to step in and show me what it was all about being a man. And you know, I've still faltered. Because deep down in my heart, you know what? I want to know who my daddy is. I'm 58 years old and I still want to know. And I don't. Somewhere in the recesses of my mind, there's a little hurt patch that I've covered up. And if you uncovered it, it would probably shout to you, who is my dad? But because I had role models, I was able to make sure that I somewhat stayed on the path of right. In those pamphlets, one of the stories he talks about is one young lady having her son sit down and use the commode because she didn't want to clean up his urine because he had bad aim. She was reinforcing a female stereotype in her son. Well, a female trait in her son, because women sit down and use the bathroom, men stand up. There's another young lady, I believe he talks about, where when she's doing makeup, her son is sitting right there watching her. You get that, right? Children live what they learn a lot of times. You can have the argument that you're born that way. Hey, whatever you do, that's fine. But I would argue that the majority of these children are growing up without fathers who can guide them in the right direction. And that's what Kunjufu was talking about, the family dynamic. That's what he talks about in the book. And before I go, I want to tell you a quick story of how this manifested itself in my family. So I was recently married. Not now, but at the time I was recently married. I was living in Memphis. I was attending a church called Greater Money, and of course I was on my quest for enlightenment. I had just finished reading these 3 volumes. My wife, we were probably a year. She also had prior to marriage, she had a son, which I, gleefully accepted. To the point where I would tutor him out of at the time I was going to college, I was tutoring him out of my algebra and trigonometry books. So I had finished the book, and I had told her, and every time I'd read a book, I would give it to her or try to get her to read it. Some of the stuff was too heavy, she couldn't read it. But in this particular case, it was easy to read. She had just finished the book, and we had sent her son to a public school, and I forgot the name of it, in the neighborhood and where we lived. This young man was top-notch, smart, in part because he was smart, but also because I had already been tutoring him in math and science and things of that nature. One of the things Kunjufu talked about is that sometimes white teachers, when they come into the urban cities, that's sometimes the first time that they've ever had any interaction with black children. They don't know how black children talk to one another. They don't know at one point playing the dozens was just a game. It wasn't trying to be offensive or anything like that. He had talked about how young white teachers are quick to want to discipline black boys because of that fact. This young man ended up being disciplined by I believe he was in the 3rd grade at the time. No, he was in the 4th grade. Because see, Kunjufu says in the 4th grade, for some reason or another, that's when we begin to lose black boys. We have to go up to the school. Now, the reason the one was disciplined, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call his name, was because the teacher said, and these are her words, the one thinks he's too smart. He wants to answer every question. Huh? So what this white teacher was doing, she was attacking his ego. She was attacking his mental side of success. And oftentimes this happened in classrooms with white teachers, and before you know it, your black son has opted out because that black teacher has decided, that white teacher has decided that she needs to bring him down a few pegs. So my wife at the time got to see firsthand what Dr. Kunjufu was talking about. After that, she never doubted me again. Well, she did on other things. That's why she's the ex. All right, folks, I've got to go. I've got to get to physical therapy today, still working on this leg. I hope y'all have a great weekend. Of course, come down and see me at Juneteenth tomorrow. I'm looking forward to talking to you. I'm also looking forward to introducing myself to you and showing you how customer service is really done. Y'all have a great weekend.
You've been listening to Black Focus, where we discuss our issues with our solutions and our voices. Join us every weekday afternoon at 1 p.m.
Y'all have a great day.
on JohnNetRadio.com.